Yo, what is going on YouTube? This is your boy Dan, aka aDrive, bringing you guys week 12 of the GBA. The New York Metapods are taking on the first ranked Boston Red Sox and coach SuperBlah, my man Nick, my friend Nick. If you guys want to check out his channel in the description below, definitely please do. And of course, show your love on that like button down below if you guys are hyped for this match. Now, if you didn't see the pregame, I highly recommend you guys check that out. So please go watch that before you watch the rest of this match. And I'm going to warn you, I'm going to give you guys spoilers here in just a second. So if you don't want spoilers, the spoilers are pertaining to the other matches. I did mention that based on the results of a different match, we will have a chance to make the playoffs or not make the playoffs. So I do want to give you guys the answer to that, even though it's a spoiler. So if you don't want the spoiler, you might want to watch the other match between George and Monatui first. If you don't care, here's your spoiler in 3, 2, 1. Monatui did lose that match. I'm not going to tell you the details of it, but I will tell you that if we are able to win against Nick and the Boston Red Sox with a 2 differential or better, we will make the playoffs. So we have better chances this season to make the playoffs than we did last season, and last season we won the championship. So it is not going to be an easy match. I have a very tough match on paper, but if we win, we will make the playoffs, and to me, that is super exciting to play this final match here with something to play for, basically, and I hope you guys are going to be excited nevertheless, because, you know, we've put in some work this season. We've had our ups and downs, but it's really cool that we're still fighting for a playoff spot here in week 12. I do have a question of the day for you guys, and you can leave this in the comment section below. What has been your favorite moment so far this season for the New York Metapods? Let me know in the comments section below. I would say it was probably the Dragon Dance sweep of Altaria against Monatui, or even against Envy a couple weeks ago, but you guys can let me know in the description below. So anyway, let's get into this match here. I'm going to connect with Nick, and we're going to find out what will happen and what the fate of the New York Metapods is going to be for the rest of this season. All right, guys, we are connected here. I'm going to select my team and find out what team Nick is going to bring. I know Kiram, Skarm, and Venusaur are coming, and I predicted what I think the rest of the team is going to be. Looks like he does bring some different things. Does not bring the Kiram Black. My goodness, that is absolutely insane. Does bring the Jolteon and the Alakazam, which makes me actually relatively happy that I did bring my Chansey, because it matches up pretty well. He brings the Lantern as well, and does not bring the Kiram. Instead, brings the Jolteon. So I do have some answers for some of these Pokemon, actually, and I think I'm just so glad to not see Kiram Black that I'm like kind of dumbfounded here. But we do have some huge problems like Alakazam. I had a feeling Lantern and Drapion would come, as you saw from my predictions there. So in terms of his leads, I think he could lead Jolteon. I think he could lead Lantern. He could lead Skarmory. He could even lead Drapion or Alakazam. He's got a lot of different leads here. I kind of thought a good amount about what I wanted to lead with, and I don't think Alvantula is my good lead here. I think that's a little risky off the bat. I really think I should be leading with something different than that. So I can lead with my man Jet, and I can get a free U-turn out. I could also lead with Altaria and ensure my Mega Evolution. If he leads with Drapion, I'm going to have a little bit of problems there, as I'm going to be forced to switch out in the first turn. So that might not be my safest bet. He could very well lead with Drapion, but I do like my Altaria lead because I can threaten that thing out pretty much right away. And since there's no Kiram, my Altaria isn't as vital, I think, as it otherwise would have been. It's very important nevertheless, especially since it puts in a good amount of work to his team. But I do want to just lead with my my Altaria here, get that Mega Evolution off, and be able to fire off some Fire Blasts or Hyper Voices and things like that, and kind of find out what set he's going to bring on some of his Pokemon. So he brings his Volterra, which I think is that Jolteon, so that's not bad at all. This is going to give me an opportunity to get my Mega Evolution off first of all, and then fire off a big hit here. And I don't really think there's too much that this thing can do to me. He can't you know, he can't really risk a substitute or anything like that. So I'm actually going to go for the Fire Blast here on the first turn. I am going to Mega Evolve and click Fire Blast here. And I'm hoping that he just simply goes for a Volt Switch into something like, you know, Venusaur or whatever. If he does stay in, though, then I will hit it with a Fire Blast. It's going to do a tremendous amount of damage to Jolteon nevertheless. But I fully expect just a Volt Switch here into something else. Maybe the Drapion, he could just go into Skarmory. But he will get the intel that I'm a special set here right off the bat. But my hope is he actually goes into Venusaur here on the Fire Blast. We'll see what he's going to do. He could also Thunder Wave me here too, which would be kind of a big deal if he did Thunder Wave me. But he is just going to go for that Volt Switch here, and I should be able to get some insight whether or not he specs or not. Doesn't do a tremendous amount, and I don't see any items. So I'm assuming that that's basically just a pretty standard offensive Jolteon. It didn't really strike me as like a Life Orb variant. That Volt Switch did very little. He's gonna go into Pontus. I don't know what that is. That's the Lantern. Okay, so we're gonna find out whether this thing is gonna be Assault Vest or not. We're gonna connect Fire Blast here. Does about 10%. Doesn't really do too much to him. We do see the leftovers on this this Lantern here. So leftovers, and we saw just how little that did from the Mega Altaria. So let me actually take a quick look here at Lantern and just kind of see typically what Lanterns have here. Fire Blast does about 10 to 12. That makes sense. Hyper Voice doesn't do too much more to him. So I really am in a situation where it's in my best interest to switch out here. Now, I can easily switch into my Sunny side, which is a great play here. I think he might just go for a Volt Switch, though, which is why I'm thinking that part of me wants to stay in here. Because if he goes for an Ice Beam, I know I can live the hit and I can roost off the damage on the following turn. I don't want to give him the momentum of just going for a Volt Switch here, like a slow Volt Switch, because if he gets that initiative, he can go right into his Drapion against my Sunny side, and that's a bit problematic for me. So I'm actually thinking I kind of just want to Hyper Voice here and see what he's going to do, because anything that really comes in is not going to want to take a Hyper Voice. He could very well just switch into that that Venusaur, though. I think he's going to just Volt Switch here. Do I just want to go for the Hyper Voice, or do I want to take a chance here? I mean, I don't really anticipate a Scald. Very well could Scald, though. Very well could Scald here. What's my switch in when that Drapion comes back in, though? It's gonna be a tough play for me because I'm gonna have to make the prediction. I don't know if that's a prediction I want to make right now. Nimbus is pretty important, but I think I could work around it. I'm gonna just go for the Hyper Voice here. I think he's just gonna Volt Switch, and I kind of want to see what other stuff he has on this thing. So let's go for the Hyper Voice. It's about 30-40% to him. Looks like it is gonna bring him below half, and he does go for a Thunder Wave here. So I had a feeling that was a possibility. I did. And I don't have any way to heal that off, unfortunately. But that's okay. It's okay. So what I can do here is, based on that damage, I could try to drop a Draco and finish him off, but I have a feeling he's just going to switch out here. So nothing on his team really wants to take a Hyper Voice too bad, like too much. I mean, he could go into Scarm. He could go into something else here. I mean, I don't really anticipate him staying in. Yeah, being paralyzed is a bummer. I could have went a chance there. I just didn't want to give him the momentum. But what I'll do here is, I think a Draco could knock him out from this range. Let me take a look. If I have Mega Altaria, I mean, Draco Meteor does do just a little bit more. It's close. I feel like it's not going to, though. But would he just Volt Switch out here into something else now? Would he go into something else? Like, would he just... I feel like he's just going to Volt Switch. I'm going to go for the Fire Blast here, predicting him to just Volt Switch. He is going to Volt Switch, so I'm going to get a Fire Blast off on something, assuming I don't get fully paralyzed. Could very well be the Venusaur. It could be the Skarmory. Either or would be nice. Either or would be very nice. Because it does about 60% to Venusaur, and it actually has a chance to Oko Skarmory, but he's obviously going to have Sturdy. He's not going to go into Drapion now that he knows I stayed in. So I'm thinking he's going into Venusaur here. He's going to go into Scarface, which is, I think, that Skarmory. We do predict that. We go for the Fire Blast here. We do connect. It's going to put a lot of pressure on that Skarmory right off the bat here. See, it's going to knock him all the way down and knock him into his Sturdy. So that's really awesome. That's really, really awesome, actually, because now his Skarmory is in range to go down, and it's leftover Skarm as well. So that's really good to note. Now, he can go for like a move like Stealth Rock or something like that, but he's at the point now where he actually, if I attack him, he actually goes down and is gone. He could Roost here. So I think I'm just going to make the safe play and Fire Blast. And if he just Roosts, I'll knock him out. He is going to go for the Roost here. So if I connect this this Fire Blast here, I actually knock out Skarmory. So hopefully we don't get fully paralyzed. And we do connect the Fire Blast. This might actually just knock out a Skarm. It should. And it does exactly that. So that's a huge, huge kill for us. Altaria kills Skarmory with Fire Blast. So that's huge. So Altaria has definitely done its job already. Getting rid of Skarmory and putting on some pressure has been very useful. So here comes the Venusaur. And this thing is very scary to my team for a number of reasons. I have to switch out here, especially considering that there's a very possible Chansey goes for Sludge Bomb here. My play is most certainly to go into Chansey. Now that may result in that Drapion coming back in, but I cannot take a Sludge Bomb. And if Drapion does come in, it could set up on me. So I think the Sludge Bomb is the likely play. So you know what I'm going to do here? I think I'm going to... Do I go into Jet here? Do I think he would do something else? I don't want to go into Victini yet. It's too risky. I mean, Chansey is definitely my play. But do I think he's going to predict that? I think I got to make the safe play here. The problem is if he goes into that Drapion, if he doubles into Drapion, it's very problematic for my team. Because then I have to take a knockoff. But I could try to paralyze him in the process with Chansey, which could be very useful. I just don't want to lose my item. Let's see here. Do I go into the Chansey play, or do I just... I can go into Jet as well. Jet actually has a lot of usefulness now that Skarmory's gone. Let's go into Sunnyside here. I think Flygon just has a ton of usefulness now that I've gotten rid of that that Skarmory. So let's go into Sunnyside here. And I know I can take any hit from a Venusaur. He could be an offensive Swords Dance variant to take on my Chansey, but I feel like that's relatively unlikely. So we'll see what he's going to do here. He is just going to go for that Sludge Bomb, so pretty predictable there. So we get the prediction right. And we don't really see much from that. I actually might be able to gain some intel whether or not he's like offensive at least. I'm assuming him to be fully defensive, but based on that damage, he did 326. So let's see, 281 out of 326 is going to put us at around 8%, which does lead me to believe that he is indeed actually like pretty much fully bulk. Like he's fully bulk invested. So I have a couple options here. I can choose to set up my Stealth Rocks, which are very, very useful against this team. I can opt to go for a Thunder Wave, which is a little bit riskier because he does have the Lantern, he has the Jolteon, he's got a lot of things that can switch into that. The Thunder Wave is probably the play I want to do the most though, because Jolteon can't touch me in most cases, and neither can Lantern. So I think I'm actually just going to go for that Thunder Wave. He's going to switch out here. I'm hoping he goes into Drapion. He's going to go to Rocky Road, which is the Alakazam. So I'm going to get a Thunder Wave off on this Alakazam, which is very, very nice. We're going to paralyze this guy right off the bat here. Now, I know Alakazam does carry knockoff in some situations, and it is possible that he is going to have it here. I think Chansey is still, like, why would you bring in a Alakazam on a Chansey? I think he's going to go for knockoff. So I think this is an opportunity for me to go to Nimbus, because Nimbus can take a Life Orb Dazzling Gleam anyway, I believe. So let me take a look here versus Alakazam. Now that he's paralyzed, it's definitely a nice situation for me to be in. I think I could take a Dazzling Gleam. I could definitely take one hit. I don't know if I could. I can't take two. I could definitely take one hit though. Is that the play I want to make? Could also go into Victini here, put some pressure on, maybe get a substitute. I just don't want to lose my item yet. I don't want him to go for knockoff here. This thing is a little too risky for me. But Nimbus still has some viability. Nimbus actually comes in on that Lantern pretty well. I think I'm going to stay in here with Chansey. I think I'm going to stay in, and I'm just going to go for the Seismitoss. I can also get my rocks up, but I'm thinking the Seismitoss damage right now is going to be more important, especially if he has a Focus Sash. He is going to be tightening his focus here, so I think he's like a focus punching Alakazam, but his focus is going to be broken here, so it's a good thing I didn't switch out, but I was going to go into Altari anyway, so he's going to lose his focus. So he's a Focus Punch Alakazam, which I think he had for Chansey, but very surprised to see that. I don't know that one, but Focus Punch was the move. I think I could just go for another Seismitoss here. It really doesn't hurt me to do that. It's a 3-KO on the Alakazam. He's going to switch out. So he's about 65% on the Alakazam. Here comes that Lantern. And Alakazam's about 65% and para. And we look at that damage, and that damage looks like another Seismitoss will knock this thing out. So I'm going to just do that. I really am not too concerned about this thing. I have Natural Cure. It's not a whole lot he can do to me. He's going to go for the Heal Bell here to heal that off. So we see Heal Bell on his Lantern and Volt Switch. And this may actually knock him out. It's going to be really close, but I do think it has a chance to knock him out. And it's not going to, unfortunately. We need one more Seismitoss off of on him to knock him out. So he very well could just Volt Switch here. In fact, I think it's very likely that he does just go for a Volt Switch. But nothing on his team really wants to take a Seismitoss. He could Volt Switch into Venusaur. I don't think he's going to go into Jolteon. I think I just go for Seismitoss again, to be honest. I really don't see any reason not to. He could just go into Drapion. I'm going to go for Thunder Wave. I'm going to predict a Volt Switch, go for Thunder Wave. He's going to go for Thunder Wave of his own here. So he does paralyze me, and I'm going to find out if he is Volt Absorb. I'm really expecting him to be Volt Absorb at this point. And I'm actually fully paralyzed, so that works out really well. I don't give him the Volt Absorb boost, allowing me to simply go for, you know, something here. I think what I'm going to do now, though, is I'm actually going to go into my Flygon, and I'm going to try to pressure him out with a Volt Switch myself, or a U-turn, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go into Jet here, and I'm going to make an aggressive play so I can get a U-turn off on something. So we saw Heal Bell on this thing, Volt Switch, Thunder Wave, so not a lot of offensive pressure on this thing. His play here is most likely just to go for a Volt Switch, but I want to see if I can block that, go into Flygon, and then go for a U-turn. So my Natural Cure will activate. Now, if he goes for like a Scald here, that's just going to be a great play. I really don't anticipate that to be the play. It'd be very strange if he did. He does go for a Scald, so great play on his part. I'm playing with a 30% burn chance here, which would be dreadful if he got it. He does not get it, which is very nice for me. Now, he actually has no switch-ins for an Earthquake now at this point. Even Venusaur, like Venusaur can definitely take it, but it's not going to like it. So I have a decision to make here, whether I want to go for a U-turn and risk knocking him out or not. It looks like U-turn will knock him out on most variants of Lantern. It's really going to depend on his spread. I can always just go back in a Chansey. I mean, I really want an Earthquake here, but if that Venusaur comes in, it's going to be very problematic for my team. So I think what I should do is just go for the U-turn. And then I can just go into Mega Altaria, and then I get a Hyper Voice off on something. Or potentially, I mean, it's not going to do much to the Venusaur, though. Do I just Earthquake? I could lose momentum if I don't. Let me go for the U-turn. I think that's a safe play. He's going to stay in here. I'm hoping this is enough. I'm not adamant. I'm naive, so it's going to be really close. And it doesn't knock him out, so we get super duper close, but it's just not enough. But what we can do now is I can just go back into Chansey. And I know he didn't Thunder Wave. He probably went for Scald again, hoping for a burn. He does indeed just go for Scald. So we've seen this thing's entire set, but I know now that that I will knock him out with a Seismitoss at this range. And I don't think he's going to risk wanting to switch. So he could paralyze us, but I'm going to get a Seismitoss off on this thing regardless, which is very nice. He's going to go for the Thunder Wave. And I should be able to connect with the Seismitoss and knock him out, hopefully. Hopefully we don't get fully parried, and we do not. Seismitoss does connect, and Chansey's going to pick up a kill. So Chansey kills Lantern with S-Toss, and Lantern goes down. So we're doing really well right now, but I haven't seen his Drapion set, and I'm still very worried about his Venusaur, which we've only seen Sledge Bomb. So, and his Alakazam is no longer paralyzed, and we know his Jolteon has Volt Switch. So, Chansey is looking to be a very effective member of this team right now, but that Drapion is very scary still. Here comes Rocky Road, which is that Alakazam. And now that I'm paralyzed, I'm a little bit scared of this thing. I'm a lot of bit scared of this thing. Typically, it can't do much to me, though, so I think I'm just going to stay in here and go for a Seismitoss. And see what he's going to do. He's going to go for Disable here. So he's going to disable our Seismitoss. And this is a very funky Alakazam set, so now I'm forced to switch. But what I know I can do is I can go into Aragog here, and I can get my Sticky Webs up. 100%. Actually, no, it's a little risky. I can go to Nimbus, though. Nimbus is going to resist any hit from him if he does go for the Focus Punch. We know he's Disable. So we'll get rid of that Paralysis, and we can go into Nimbus now and see what he's going to do. He is going to go for the Substitute. Now, my Hyper Voice actually does hit through that Substitute, so I'm not really that concerned about it. I can just click Hyper Voice here. And that is what I'm going to do. I'm sure he knows I have Hyper Voice. He's going to switch out here, so he wastes that Substitute. And he's going to probably go into his Venusaur, which is exactly what he does. So here comes the Venusaur. It's going to take some Hyper Voice damage here. And you're going to see it's going to do about 20%, not too much to him. This is my switch into Chansey now. It's definitely my best play. He may predict that and go into Drapion at this point in time. I could also go into Aragog and ensure my Sticky Webs, but I don't want to risk that. Last time I went into Chansey, the thing is I don't have a defensive switch into Venusaur other than Chansey, so I do have to go into Chansey here. And he is going to stay in. So maybe I'll get some more intel on his last move. He is going to just go for Sludge Bomb. And I know I can take that no problem. Okay, great. So he's got Jolteon left and some other things. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to set up Stealth Rocks now. Now that Lantern's gone, he could go into Jolteon for Volt Absorb on the Thunder Wave, but getting at my Rocks here is very useful. And if he goes into Drapion, that's fine, because now I'm starting to pressure him with Rocks. And I know I have a Choice Scarf Flygon that can outspeed his Drapion, no problem. And getting up these Rocks is going to be very useful. And don't forget, as I mentioned in the beginning of the match, I am playing for differential too. I need to win 2-0 or better. So he's going to stay in and go for another Sludge Bomb here. And obviously it's not going to do too much to me, and he's going to weaken us a decent amount here. But what I'm going to do now is, I don't want a Thunder Wave. I'm simply going to just go for the soft build. I want to make sure I'm at as much health as possible, because I could have an engagement against that Drapion at some point where I'm going to have to Seismitoss it to break substitutes. So, but I do have multiple options. So he's just gonna go for a Sludge Bomb again, and I think he's letting me kind of paralyze this Venusaur here. So I'm actually gonna go for the Thunder Wave here on the next turn and just paralyze this thing, because I'm at the point now where I know I can paralyze him, and I know that if we do so, it's gonna really cripple this thing. And now that his Heal Beller is gone, it's gonna be very useful for us. And if he goes into Jolteon, I don't really care. All he'll do is Volt Switch out. So Chansey actually matches up incredibly well against all of his team except for Drapion here. He's going to stay in and Sludge Bomb, and I kind of understand his perspective here because he can't really risk going into Drapion and then having it get paralyzed. That would not be a good decision. So, you know, he's kind of forced, his hand is forced here to just keep Sludge Bombing, unless there's something I just am not picking up yet. So what I could do is I can make an aggressive switch into my Victini here if I really wanted to, but I just don't see any reason in doing that. I think my play here is just a Seismitoss. I believe it's a 4-hit KO, but I haven't seen Synthesis yet, so he may not have it. He may have something else on his set that I haven't seen, but you're going to just keep seeing him Sludge Bomb. Maybe he's banking for a Poison, I don't know. But at this point in time, I think my play is just to continue to Seismitoss. I want to see him show me the Synthesis. That's kind of what I'm aiming to see here. I want to see that Synthesis before I make any switches here, because we're actually... he gets paralyzed here, so I don't know if he's Synthesis on that turn, but we're in a situation now where Chansey actually will knock him out with another Seismitoss. So, and I think this is actually going to do it. So Chansey kills Venusaur with Seismitoss. Okay, so sweet. So Chansey picking up 2 kills already, and Venusaur was the biggest thing that I was worried about, and that is now gone. He is left with an Alakazam, which dies to one more Seismitoss, a Jolteon, which typically cannot touch Chansey, and here comes the Drapion, of course, which I've been waiting to see this entire time. Now, I'm very, very worried about this thing, because it can do a lot of things to me. He could be an Acupressure set, he could do a lot of things. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make a direct switch into my Altaria, because I can Hyper Voice him out. I can live 1 Poison Jab at this point if he sets up a sub. And I have a couple things that I can throw at him if I need to. He's going to go for the knockoff. So we see the knockoff on this thing. See just how little that's going to do. And now I'm in a situation where I just click Hyper Voice here. I could also Draco Meteor. Draco Meteor does have a chance to knock him out, so I'm actually going to go for the Draco. He's going to switch here. So this Draco Meteor is going to hit something incredibly hard. It's going to be the Alakazam, and if I connect, it will knock him out. I do connect the Draco Meteor, so Altaria kills Alakazam with Draco Meteor. So Alakazam goes down. And that's another huge throw out of the way. So it's down to just Jolteon and Drapion are his last 2 Pokemon left. I'm a little worried about the Drapion. I still haven't set up my Stealth Rocks, or my Sticky Webs, but here comes the Drapion. And I think it's very likely that he's just going to knock me out here. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm just going to click Draco Meteor again. On the off chance that I can live. He's actually going to Ice Fang, so he's got the Ice Fang on here for Flygon, and I will live that. There's a chance for a flinch. It doesn't happen. I connect a Draco Meteor here. This is not going to knock him out, but it's going to bring him to a range where I can easily revenge kill him. So you're going to see that's actually going to do a tremendous amount of damage to him. Almost knocks him out, so that leads me to believe he is an offensive variant here. And I know he's going to Ice Fang. It seems like that's his most likely play, or a potential Poison Jab. I mean, my play here is I'm simply just going to let this thing go down at this point. I really lose nothing from that, so I'm just going to go for a Hyper Voice here. He's going to go for the Ice Fang, and I'm sure that'll knock us out, which is fine, though. And it does. So Drapion kills Altaria with Ice Fang. And now I just go into Jet here, and I believe I just click Earthquake twice, and we win. I believe that's how this is going to just go down, man. I think that's it. I'm going to click Earthquake here. It doesn't get Sucker Punch. Earthquake is going to connect and knock him out. So Flygon kills Drapion with EQ. And I believe his last Pokemon is that Jolteon, which all we've seen from it is a Volt Switch. I do have a Chansey, which can take that thing on no problem. So I feel like we got this, guys. I'm like dumbfounded here. Nick he did tell me before the match that he was looking to run some funky stuff. Celebrate. What is this? What the heck? Congratulations, Nick. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to say to that. I think he just threw that on his Jolteon here. And we're going to pick up the win. So I'm going to talk to Nick after this match, but Flygon kills Jolteon with EQ. And we're going to pick up the 5-0 win, and we are going to move to the playoffs here, ladies and gentlemen. So very interesting matchup here against SuperBlah. He was fighting for the #1 spot in the league, so I'm a little surprised to see things like the celebrate and stuff like that. He did tell me that he was going hard in this match and he was aiming to get the best record in the league and stuff. So I have nothing else to say aside from that. But regardless, guys, it's been a very tough season and we are moving to the playoffs now after that win. So we go 5-0 against the Boston Red Sox and we're going to be moving on to the first round of the playoffs. I don't know who we're playing yet, but I have a feeling it's going to be Coach Envy. Lord Envy, of course, who we did play just about a week ago, and we were able to beat him. So we're gonna have to have a third match against Envy here. But I'm just glad I made the playoffs, man. I'm super stoked about that, and I want to thank you guys for supporting the Metapods for this long. It's been a crazy season, man. Lots of ups and downs, but I'll take it, man. And that's gonna be that for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Show your love on that like button down below for us making the playoffs. And that's it for me, guys. My name is Dan. Also go by aDrive, and I'm gonna catch you guys later. Peace. Yo guys, I couldn't end the video like that. I had to kind of address this here because the first thing I did after this match ended was I went on Discord and I said to Nick and SuperBlah, I said, man, you gotta be honest with me, man. Did you play this match? Like, did you play to win? Did you throw the match? Because I felt like things just kind of went my way that match. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't handed to me, but it definitely felt a little bit easy. And I don't ever want to just be given a win for any reason. And especially when there's another contender in this league who was hoping for a playoff spot too. So I did just talk to Nick on Discord, and I'm gonna kind of give you guys the conversation here. I'll read it off. I said, well, he actually said to me, before I even messaged him, he said, I'm actually upset that you didn't let me sub-punch your Chansey. The Fire Blast predicted at the start, which was me predicting that Fire Blast onto the Skarmory switch in, it just triggered me really hard, and I kind of pretty much lost there. And I said, did you throw the match? And he says, no, let me explain my team. I had 4 legit sets tailored for your team. The Zam was something I wanted to try all season. He wanted to try a Focus Punch Alakazam, which does 2-hit KO Chansey, and it was carrying Knockoff, it looks like, which is a 2-hit KO on Victini. The Jolteon had the move Celebrate on it as a 4th move in the event that Nick lost is kind of like a joke for the end of the match. And he said, but I promise I had every intention of winning, but the Fire Blast predicted and the T-Wave predict sent me back so far to have a real chance in the match. So I just talked to him. That's the direct quote from him. He's a tremendous competitor and he's one of my friends. And I'm sure you guys watched this match and I was feeling a little bit uneasy because I don't ever want to just be handed a game, especially one of this caliber. There's never any instant or anything like that where I want that to happen. So hopefully that clarifies it up. It definitely clarifies it up for me. I do believe Nick. I could tell you him and I had numerous conversations throughout the week about this match and how we were both going to take it seriously. And he said, I'm not going to hand it to you. And I said, I don't want you to hand it to me. I want to be able to play this match and I want my revenge after losing earlier in the season to him. And I spent a tremendous amount of time preparing for this match. I probably spent more time on this match than any other match this season, and we made the predictions we needed to make early game. Once that Skarmory was gone though, I mean, in my defense, once that Skarmory was gone, he really didn't have an answer for Chansey except for the Drapion, which I did have a few switch-ins for, and I never even needed to set up my sticky web. So I guess when you kind of take a step back and look at the match, I can see how it did play out in a fair way, and I was just really thrown off there by that Celebrate at the end with the Jolteon. I guess he was just kind of trying to have some fun since the match didn't matter as much for him, and you know, whatever. So anyway, hope that clarifies things. You know, I just want to, you guys know me, I always want to be straightforward and honest with you guys and get the real answers and not ever try to cheat anyone or anything like that. That's not my style. It's not my game. Not into that. So I figured I would just address it right here in case there was any concerns in the comment section below. So anyway, big props to my competitor, Nick. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That's going to be it for me, guys. My name is Dan, also by aDrive, and I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace.